have a son and he wants to take dance class even though all his friends are playing football.
He can dance if he wants to. He can leave his friends behind. 'Cause his friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, then they're no friends of mine.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 best insults and comebacks on Scrubs.
You're wrong.
You're so wrong.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
For this list, we'll be going over the amusing and biting retorts, rants, and remarks delivered by characters on the sitcom Scrubs. If there's a witty or savage line delivered by the doctors at Sacred Heart that had you in stitches, help us sew up our own list by pointing it out in the comments. Number 10. Kelso in Hell. Dr. Cox and Dr. Kelso have quite different outlooks on medicine, as well as plenty of animosity towards one another.
It's hotter than hell in here.
Freezing.
Great coffee, though.
Rat piss.
Dr. Murphy is an incompetent suck-up.
No, Bob. In fact, he's one of the finest young doctors I've ever had the good fortune of working with.
While Kelso tells the residents to pay attention to all of their terminally ill patients equally, Dr. Cox tells them the exact opposite, asking that they focus all their efforts on one whom he believes they may actually be able to save. After Elliot protests, citing Kelso's previous order, Dr. Cox claims that the only thing he wants to hear from Kelso's mouth is that the older doctor has ended up in the opposite place of where he might have wanted to go, along with several dictators and, oddly, a children's TV host.
I'm dying, now I'm moving towards the light, but wait a minute, there's been a mistake. This is hell. Hello, Hitler. Hello, Mussolini. Captain Kangaroo. That's weird.
You'd never know it from looking at him. Number 9. Carla calls Katie out. New intern Katie gets on people's bad sides by taking credit for their work. So, to set her straight, Carla sits her down in the cafeteria and tells her to knock it off.
Childish, self-centered attitude you keep throwing everyone's way is nothing new.
She has seen many people in her time at Sacred Heart, so any excuse for her behavior is no excuse at all. Katie tries to sway Carla by detailing her unfortunate upbringing, but Carla replies,
"Oh, Katie, I know. Heard it!"
She goes on to list all the emotional baggage she and her friends all deal with. Carla makes it clear to Katie that acting out is only going to alienate the people she's going to be spending most of her time with, and if she keeps it up, she won't last long.
And I can tell you they will love you unconditionally if you let them. But if you don't, they... Check that. We will eat you alive.
Good advice for most workplaces. Number 8. JD impersonates Dr. Cox. JD hangs on Dr. Perry Cox's every word and looks up to him as a mentor.
Medicine is a collaborative effort, and that means that your opinion is just as important as mine. So, let's see if you got the gobstoppers to take the lead. Be me.
When Cox offers to let JD take the lead on a patient, JD responds to his caustic attitude by replying in kind, imitating his every mannerism.
Here's the deal, Eleanor. We're gonna go ahead and get a full workup on this guy. So while I drop an NG tube and do a gastric lavage, why don't you go ahead and get an order on an EKG with cardio biomarkers?
He does the whistle, calls Dr. Cox a girl's name, and goes into an overly long rant with several tangents that further call the older doctor's masculinity into question. While Dr. Cox responds by pretending to get lost in thought like JD does, we have to feel like he almost respects the effort. At least until JD fails at the shoulder bump. Well, you can't always hit every note.
Now you gotta grab that elevator, but not without giving him his patented shoulder bump.
Good day.
Ow! How you like me now?
Number 7. Two Thumbs. While most see Dr. Bob Kelso as the heartless chief of medicine, it's more that he's seen it all and has stopped caring as much about most things, including what people think of him.
Hey, champ, what has two thumbs and doesn't give a crap? Bob Kelso. How you doing?
One of his favorite ways to express this is to rhetorically ask people what has two thumbs and doesn't give a crap. The answer is, invariably, his own name. This is somewhat of a catchphrase for him, though he does vary it up occasionally, sometimes using a funny voice.
What has two thumbs, a funny voice, and still doesn't give a crap? Bob Kelso! I added the funny voice to keep it fresh.
It's not a very original comeback, but it's a cliche for good reason. It's effective. Plus, there's something to be said for Kelso's delivery.
Dr. Kelso, it's so cold in pediatrics the kids are wearing mittens.
Hey, champ, what has two thumbs and doesn't give a crap? Bob Kelso. How you doing?
Number 6. Too Proud. When Dr. Cox's ex-wife Jordan returns, pregnant with, supposedly, another man's child, he's both conflicted and angry, particularly since he's seeing someone else. However, he also discovers that his current girlfriend, Julie, has slept around at the hospital.
God, I just hate that every doctor you ever gave a drug sample to sniffs around you like a pathetic little puppy dog.
I never gave those guys anything. I slept with them.
Carla rightly calls Dr. Cox out on his hypocrisy after he takes some of his anger out on JD. She lists all the women he has slept with at the hospital, including Jordan, repeatedly.
I'm proud of her commitment to medicine.
Please, what about all the women you've slept with? Your ex-wife, that med student, your ex-wife, the cute nurse from radiology, your ex-wife.
Would you please get off my ex-wife?
When Cox asks that she stop mentioning his ex-wife, Carla responds,
I will if you will.
Damn it.
Dr. Cox can't even be mad at her, and we don't blame him because that's one solid burn. Number 5. Who Caresies Awards. Dr. Cox has had many creative methods of expressing how little he cares about things.
Hey, Dr. Cox! You'll be happy to know that I did everything for my patient that you did for yours.
Oh my God, I care so little I almost passed out.
There's that time he cared so little he almost passed out, and we're big fans of the celebrated work Man Not Caring.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to present Man Not Caring.
But our pick for the best time he discusses his lack of anything approaching caring is this one. Dr. Cox's patience is about as thin as Turk's hair. It just ain't there. So when everyone around him starts talking about the minutia of their lives while he's trying to save a patient's life, he decides to invent the Who Caresies Awards.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first annual Sacred Heart Who Caresies Awards, designed to honor those people who believe that others actually give a rat's ass about the minutia of their lives.
This dovetails nicely into a fantasy sequence where JD embellishes the already amusing premise with full-on award show pomp.
And the winner is Dame Judy Dorian. This is Dame Judy Dorian's first nomination and first win.
That year was the Todds to lose. Number 4. Elliot takes down Jordan. If there's anyone more savage than Dr. Cox at Sacred Heart, it's probably his ex-wife Jordan.
JD thought, first he dumps that patient on you, and now he wants you to ask me a favor? Honey, if you don't start saying no to him soon, you're gonna wind up on the losing end of a little game I like to call hide the pickle.
But even she can be bested, on rare occasions. One such moment happens after Elliot gives her a physical, when Jordan claims that Elliot shouldn't be sleeping with JD, whom Elliot actually likes, and that sex is for revenge and children. Elliot calls Jordan out.
I don't know where your mother was when she should have been telling you all of these things, but you cannot have sex with someone you care about. Sex is for making babies and revenge.
Oh, you're so full of it.
She reveals that everyone knows she's still sleeping with Dr. Cox, while also lambasting her for her hypocrisy.
And it can't be about making babies, because you'd probably just end up eating them anyway. And as for revenge, I'm just not sure that driving to his apartment and pleasuring him while he watches Sports Center is hurting him as much as you might think. So I have to figure that you still care about him, whether you want to admit it or not.
Elliot doesn't quite stick the landing, but we have to respect that she dared to hit Jordan so far below the belt. Number 3. The Rant Song. Dr. Cox delivers plenty of amusing rants during Scrubs, but one of the most amusing is also the one that rhymes the most.
It's your hair, your nose, your chin, little face. You always need a hug, not to mention all the manly apple teenies that you chug.
In the episode My Musical, a woman named Patty faints outside the hospital, and when she wakes up, everyone has started singing their words. While trying to convince Dr. Cox she's not insane, we're treated to a rant in song form about everything JD does to irritate Dr. Cox.
So now that is why I call you names like Carol, Jane, and Sue, like Moesha, Kim, and Lily, and Suzanne, and Betty Lou. See, regardless of the names I pick, my feelings are quite clear. You're a pain in every day of every month of every year.
There's some creative bars throughout, and even some accompaniment by the janitor and Patty herself. While most of us would probably like to compose a song about someone or something that bothers us, we're unfortunately not all musically inclined.
Shut your cake hole, Mary Beth, or I swear to God I'll shut it soon.
Congratulations. We'll schedule your test this afternoon.
Number 2. All the girl names. Dr. Cox may be JD's mentor, but he's hardly nice about it. Along with the aforementioned rants directed at his protege, Perry's favorite method of mocking JD is calling him an arbitrary girl's name instead of addressing him by his real name.
Frankly, each time you call me a girl's name, I die a little inside.
Look, Janice, Denise, Tiffany, Amber, Thiessen.
The sheer variety of these is impressive, even if the concept is a simple one.
Do it now, call her Betty.
You're insane.
Betty.
Betty?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it worked!
These names can range from famous celebrities to random common names, and even something as lazy as the literal words girl's name. He even switches it up one episode too, and does dogs' names instead.
And instead, I'm going to be referring to you by whatever famous dog I can think of. I've gone with Lassie because, of course, that satisfies the criteria of being both a girl and a dog's name, thus helping you ease into the transition.
It's one of the show's best running gags, for sure. Before we get to our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Pancake. The noise Turk makes is indescribably funny.
Why is there a pancake in the silverware drawer?
I mean, why is there silverware in the pancake drawer?
Everyone's wheelhouse. Way to break down the entire show's humor, Dr. Cox.
As long as you stay right in your wheelhouse.
And it's no different for any of us. Barbie is funniest when she's an anal retentive train wreck. Your husband sells it with a cocky attitude.
Ways to say no. So many ways to convey such a simple concept.
No way, Jose. No chance, Lance. And yet, negatory. Nah. And of course, my own personal favorite of all time, man falling off of a cliff. No!
Wrong equals Dorian. It's surprisingly catchy.
Dorian. You have been wrong about so many things that I'm not even going to say something's wrong anymore. Instead, I'm going to say, it's Dorian.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, and Hugh Jackman. The rant to end all rants. When JD approaches Dr. Cox and asks him if he's excited about their last week together with JD as a resident, Perry replies in epic fashion. He proceeds to list all the things he cares as little about as their final week together.
High-def TV, the Bush daughters, wireless hotspots, the OC, the UN, recycling, getting punked, Danny Gans, the Latin Grammys, the real Grammys, Jeff, that wiggle who sleeps too darn much.
These topics range from fads, to politics, to celebrities, to then cutting-edge technology. By the end of it, he includes everything that exists in every conceivable reality. And to top it all off...
And Hugh Jackman.
He really went there. It's so brutal, yet so entertaining. It's no wonder they called back to it on JD's final day at the hospital.
Everything that exists, past, present, and future, in all discovered and undiscovered dimensions. And of course, Hugh Jackman.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.